Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Yoga with Dave, and coming towards the end of this Mindspace week, which has been running all week. And I had a little delve into some of the stuff that's been on this week. It's been some amazing things. Really loved it. So varied, and hopefully you're getting a lot from it this week and all the weeks. But I really love it when we had back care week last week. We've got Mindspace week this week. Just really nice to be able to kind of delve into these different areas and subjects and make it all relevant. And we can see Mindspace weeks, there's so many different influences and different styles, different classes, and it's all relevant, all of this stuff, So how do we kind of meld it into yoga? That's a good question, isn't it? It's a really good question. So I thought today we'll make it a little bit more, I was going to say, I'll probably talk a bit more. You're like, no, don't talk more. But let's have a little chat at the start. I'm going to turn the comments on here. So if you've got any questions as I'm talking, then feel free just to put it in the chat bar. So Sue's here. Good afternoon to Sue. Good afternoon to Irene as well. So yeah, any questions you've got, put it in the chat bar. One of the things that was shared by Virtual Village Hall at the start of the week were the NHS 5 steps to mental well-being. And I just thought I'd just go through these just quite briefly, hopefully, and just have a look at these 5 steps. So the first step is connecting with other people, which might seem a little counterintuitive because, hold on, this is an online community, but there's the word community. So physically, we're not connecting face to face, and we've all become quite used to that over the last 18 months, but we still get a sense that there is a connection out there. I've already seen in the chat bar, there's people commenting on there, Debsy's here and Irene and Sue, they're saying hi, and I can feel their connection. So, I'm thinking about people up in Scotland all the way down, Wales and Ireland and, all the way down to the South Coast. That's kind of like a connection for me. I know there's people out there, I can feel it and I can sense it. So even though these things are online, I'm sure that we're all getting out a little bit more and we're able to connect. And I always say to people that come to this yoga studio in Leicester, it's not just about the yoga, it's about the connection. It's about building that community. And whatever you're doing, if you're a member of a walking group or you do go to a local yoga class, that's very powerful. So that's the first step. The second one is to be physically active. Wow, that brings it right back to yoga, doesn't it? Being physically active. Well, yoga doesn't have to be this, really expansive, energetic practice. It can be quite nourishing. It can be relaxing. That's the beautiful thing about yoga, is that there's so many different styles and so many different influences. But generally speaking, we are active when we practice yoga. We might be holding postures for longer and we feel that we're not moving a huge amount, but we're still activating into different parts of the body. So we're being physically active. The third one is to learn new skills. And that's probably what we're doing in yoga all the time. There's this word which is proprioception, which is about knowing where your body is at any one time and kind of understanding the coordination of your body. So when we're in yoga, people would generally say to me, oh, Dave, I can't do yoga. I'm not very flexible. And it's like, it's not all about the flexibility. There's flexibility, there's engagement. There's finding softness, there's strength involved. So we're building all of these things. It's not just about flexibility. Otherwise, none of us would get onto the mat. I guess a lot of us get onto the mat and we feel tight, including myself. So we're learning new skills all the time and we're being curious, Curiosity, I love that. I used to be so scared of new things. And since I've been practicing yoga over the years, I feel that thread goes all the way through my life now, and I'm a lot more curious about things and I'm willing to take risks. And it's scary, but I guess that's part of human nature, So we're learning new skills through yoga. The other one is to give to others. So that's the fourth step on the NHS 5 steps to mental well-being. Give to others. And I'm a firm believer that if you do practice yoga's not just about the asana. It's not just about, the physical practice, the asana. It's also about, the spiritual connection. And you might go, oh, no, not spiritual. I don't want to listen to spiritual stuff. If spirituality and that word makes you kind of go, oh, I'm not sure, think about spirituality as just wellness. So there's that deeper connection, you know, and we get to accept ourselves a lot more, hopefully, over time. I'm not saying it's overnight, and I'm not saying it always works, but we understand that we can always come back to our center, and that we are whole, and we're pure, and we're abundant, and we're blessed, and we're beautiful, and, you know, we're bountiful. All of these things that probably I never believed years ago about myself. So if we believe and we love ourselves, we can give out to other people, and you kind of radiate, you know, people find your energy attractive. So practicing yoga helps us tap into that, you know, when we're feeling down and overwhelmed and a bit depressed. All right. And then the fifth one is paying attention to the present moment. Oh my word. Now that is yoga. So that people will kind of put that in the bubble of mindfulness, but it's mindfulness and yoga, paying attention to the present moment. And people would be like, oh, I don't want to know about mindfulness and meditation. But if you think about when we're doing a physical yoga practice, we're already being very mindful. So what are we doing? We're paying attention to the breath, and we're paying attention to the physical body, and probably we're paying attention to the, you know, the emotional body and the energetic body and the mind. All of these things are, you know, linked together. So yoga is about paying attention to the present moment, because if we're not paying attention, then we just float off somewhere else, or we fall out of the pose. You know, so it helps us come right back to our center again, always coming back here. I'm always bringing it back to myself here. And we think about the word yoga, it just means union or yoke or to unite. So we're uniting, you know, here and here. So that's mindfulness. It draws us into the present moment. That's probably way too much talk, but I thought I love that. And, you know, looking at the 5 steps to mental well-being, you know, we should teach more yoga in schools, and, you know, we should learn this. We should be threaded into our lives. I'm a yoga teacher. Of course, I'm going to say that. So, all right, let's start with a little bit of movement, and then we're going to have a look at some of those areas. So we'll look at some mindfulness, i.e. meditation, and we'll look at some breath work, and we'll kind of like, we'll thread it all in there. Isabel says hi from Northern Ireland, and Tracy says hi from Wales. So I'm glad I mentioned Ireland, and I'm glad I mentioned Wales. Otherwise, you'd be going, what about Ireland and Wales, Dave? You sit there in Leicester in your English castle. All right, okay. So I'm going to come back onto my mat, and then let's start with standing today. So come to stand. We've been sat there for a little bit of time. So have a little move around. Just move some of these props out of the way. Such a beautiful light in here today. And we get the big clock, which still isn't working, but it will work soon. So come with that, the feet about hip distance apart. Nice. And then bring the hands to heart center. And then at this point here, just feel the connection of the feet into the floor. So already, oh my word, we're being mindful straight away, you know? So we're feeling the 4 corners of the feet. Our feet are about hip distance apart, and we're pressing those 4 corners down into the earth. So already we're probably thinking about the body, the physical body, in a completely different way. You know, I walk along, I'm not that mindful, you know, just walking. Yeah, you know, but for us to enable to have walked in the first place when we were, you know, babies, that took a huge amount of effort. So come back to this mindful posture, mountain pose. Now bring the hands down just by the hips and bring the palms face forward. And then just notice all the way from the feet, all the way up to the crown of the head. Maybe close the eyes. And as you close the eyes, just check in with the sensations in the body. So maybe you feel yourself swaying around a little bit. You know, you might feel that the weight goes from one side to the other. If it feels comfortable, then, you know, exaggerate that movement. So maybe you just move from side to side into the sides of the feet, and then maybe just move backwards and forwards into the heels, into the toes. Again, always being mindful. And then we haven't really thought about it yet, but think about the breath. The breath. Oh yeah, the breath. And we kind of forget, don't we, about the breath. Even though we take all of these breaths every single day, probably 99% of them are unconscious breathing. Yeah, that's what happens. We just breathe. But now bring some awareness to the breath. Maybe deepen it. In and out through the nose, if that feels good. You find just stillness, or you can just keep swaying around. Eyes are closed or the gaze is soft. So you've got all of these choices. The beautiful thing about yoga is it doesn't have to be a set thing. You know, you just find something that works for you. But come back to your center, be mindful, and also just appreciate yourself at this point. Hey, you're on a yoga mat. What an amazing achievement. What an incredible thing for you to do. This is part of your wellness. This is the way that you honor yourself and look after yourself and fully appreciate yourself. These are not just words, you know, do it. Really appreciate yourself here. Smile. I'm here. I get to live in this body for one more day, or, you know, one more year, or 10 more years, or 20 more years. But right now, it doesn't matter about the future. We're in the present moment. We're being mindful. And then if you haven't already, find some stillness. And then from here, if the eyes are closed, just come with the eyes open. Beautiful. Nice. From here, sweep the arms up. Right above the head. Stretch up here. And then as you exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Nice. 3 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Framing the hands at heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. Final time. Beautiful, deep inhale. And then a full exhale and bringing the hands to heart center. And then this time, just press press your thumbs against the sternum. Feel the heart center, it's broad, it's lifted. Think about your navel. And think about the line that connects the navel and the heart. Crown of the head. Imagine someone's got like a line and they're drawing it all the way from the crown of the head, all the way down into your sacrum or in between your pelvis. Beautiful. Really, really nice. From here, inhale, sweep the arms back up. This time, clasp the hands. So you make this fist and then bring the index fingers out. So it's this mudra or this hand position. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, just bend over to the left. Couple of breaths. Deep inhale. Full exhale. One more like that. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Inhale back to center. Take another deep inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bending over to the right. Inhale, you find length. Exhale into your twist or bend. Inhale, find length. And then exhale into your bend. One more like that. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way back to center. And then exhale slowly, as slow as you can. Bring the hands down. And then again, just think about it as you're doing this. How do my arms feel? Do they feel tired? Do they feel heavy? Do they feel light? Do my hands come down at the same time? Mine never do. Just be curious about how the body works. Beautiful. Come to the top of your mat if you're not there already. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll line the feet up. So you can have the feet together here, or you can have the feet about hip width apart. I like to bring mine wider just because it gives me a little bit more room when I come into this forward fold. So we're just going to do a couple of rounds of sun salutations, which we've worked on. And if you're new to sun salutations, just work really, really slowly here and be kind to yourself. So bring the hands to heart center. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, fold down low. So I always bend the knees. You see my knees begin to bend, and then I'm bringing my hands down onto the floor, or maybe you can be on the shins, or you can be on the calves, or you can grab opposite elbows. Take a couple of breaths. Like we just did in our Tadasana, our mountain pose, feel free just to sway around a little bit. Slowly open up into the back body. From here, take an inhale and then bring the hands up, maybe onto the knees today, and lengthen the spine. This is your halfway lift. Drop the belly down, roll the shoulder blades back. As you exhale, fold in deeply, press the hands down into the floor, and first step the right foot back, and then step the left foot back. Do that really slowly. You might end up around here, top of a plank. So on your next inhale, lengthen. So you press into the outer edge of the feet, and then you lengthen into your plank. Nice. As you exhale, everybody drop the knees down and then lower all the way to the floor. So keep the elbows tucked by the body and then come down really slowly. Be mindful, be curious. How does the body work? As you come down to the floor, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Take an inhale. Keep the hands just underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders back. Keep the elbows tucked by the body. As you exhale, press back onto all fours. And then lift the hips and come into your first downward facing dog. Nice. Breathe deeply here. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. Press the heels down towards the floor. Maybe you've got this nice generous bend in the knees. Elongate the spine. One more. Deep inhale. And your fullest exhale. Beautiful. Bend into the knees, look between the hands, and then just step to the top of the mat. So you might just step one foot and then the other. Take an inhale to lengthen. So again, a little bend in the knees. You're trying to lengthen the spine as much as you can. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And then exhale, you're just framing the hands at heart center. Nice. Take 2 complete rounds of breath here. Nice deep inhale. Full exhale. One more like that. Your deepest inhale. And then your fullest exhale. Let's do one more round. Inhale up. Exhale, fold in low. Little bend in the knees can help here. Inhale to lengthen. Again, little flex in the knees is great. Exhale, hands down. Step one foot back. Step the other foot back. Inhale to lengthen into your plank. Nice. Exhale, drop the knees, lower all the way to the floor. So you find the chest comes through the arms, so it elongates, and then lower all the way down. Press the tops of the feet into the floor, a little bit of weight into the hands, roll the shoulders back, keep the elbows tucked, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, and then this time lift all the way back, downward facing dog. Nice. Deep inhale. Full exhale. So we're going to take a few more rounds of breath, keep the head nice and loose. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do lion's breath. So lion's breath is where you breathe out through the mouth and you stick your tongue out. It's a really good one. It's nourishing, it's detoxifying, it's energizing. Hopefully you're going to like it. So take a deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through your mouth, stick your tongue out. Nice. 2 more like that. Deep inhale, nose. Full exhale, lion's breath. Deepest inhale through your nose. And then your fullest exhale, let it go. Stick your tongue out. Beautiful. From here, drop the knees down onto the mat. Split the knees nice and wide. Kind of like on the edge of your mat, bring the sit bones back onto your heels and then come into child's pose. So now let go. So no engagement required here. You know, maybe a little bit of engagement through the arms actually, but not a huge amount. And then place your head directly on the floor, the forehead, or you can always do this and place the head on the hands. Breathe here. So you're breathing into the back body. Breathe deeply into the stomach. So all of these areas relax. You might feel it into the tops of the feet. I certainly can today. Again, come back to that mindfulness, that curiosity. How does my body work? Where can I send the breath? Where can I completely relax and when do I need to engage? There's all these little questions and a lot of them just come intuitively. The answers are all there. We sometimes, muscle our ways into poses and try and, force our way into a pose. But we know over time with a regular, steady practice that things change. Take one more deep inhale here. And then a full exhale. And then just walk the hands back towards the knees and press yourself all the way up. And then think about the spine begins to lengthen, roll the shoulders back, and then just have the palms face up. Beautiful, everyone. Breathe here. Always feel free to kind of like place a blanket under the knees or in between the heels and the sit bones. We don't want to feel any discomfort. Beautiful. From here, you can open the eyes if they were closed and then just walk the hands forward. Come into a tabletop position and just tap the feet out. Give them a tap. Woo. Nice. Roll out through the ankles. Flex through the toes. Spread out through the fingers. All these things that we do. And sometimes, they become a habit and sometimes we get into bad habits. So just think about the alignment. So think about the hands. Maybe the hands are just forward of the shoulders, just to take a little bit of pressure out of the wrists. And then from here, that beautiful movement where we inhale, drop the belly down. This is your cow. And then as you exhale, you round into the spine, angry cat. Meow. Inhale forward. And exhale round. I've never meowed ever. I don't know why I did that. I won't do it again, I promise. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Inhale forward, exhale round, and then just get into this rhythm that feels good for you. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Really press into the hands, separate the shoulder blades. Inhale, spill the belly out, spine elongates. Exhale, spine rounds, and you just tuck the chin towards the sternum. Do 3 more complete rounds. And then a nice deep inhale, come all the way back to center. Full exhale through the mouth. Beautiful. And then from here, because we're set up nicely, let's do a little bit of balancing. So if you do need to pad the knees out, you can do this. I'm going to grab a blanket because I've got something. So, you don't have to have a blanket like this. You can always have, a rolled up tea towel or a jumper, whatever it is, just to kind of pad the knees out. It feels good sometimes. As we get older, we don't want to put too much strain into our poor old knees. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale the right leg back. Nice. So think about the right leg. It doesn't want to be out here, and it doesn't want to be over here, and it doesn't want to be up here. You're keeping it in line with the hip. Think about the sole of the right foot. Imagine you're pressing the sole of the right foot against the wall. So you feel that engagement. The leg's not kind of like baggy. It's engaged. Doesn't matter how high you lift it, but try and keep it in line with the hip. So this is maybe where you stay. Or if you wanted to, you can lengthen out through the left arm. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is that Sunbird pose. You feel wobbly, look down to the front edge of your mat, engage into the core. So again, that mindfulness, we're being mindful of the body as it moves. We're paying attention, because if we weren't paying attention, we're going to fall down to the floor. One more deep inhale, lengthen through the arm, lengthen through the legs. Beautiful, everyone. Exhale, bring the hands down. Nice. Let's do that on the other side. So inhale, left leg back. One thing I didn't say on that side is I sometimes have a look. Oh, there's my leg. Hello, leg. So this is maybe where you stay, or you can sweep the right arm forward. Beautiful. Nice deep inhales. Full exhales. Your deepest inhale, and then your fullest exhale. One more like that. Inhale, lengthen through the arm. Press, so imagine pressing the sole of the foot into the wall behind, and then exhale, bring everything down. Nice. Wriggle out through the hips. Maybe do some nice big hip circles. So circle the hips a couple of times one way, and then come back the other way a couple of times. Nice. We're not going to do a huge amount more moving. We're going to do a nice breath meditation, and then we're going to do a complete relaxation in this class. So let's come back to center, tuck the toes under, lift the hips, come back into downward facing dog, and then breathe deeply here. Deep inhale, full exhale. And then just work through another 3 rounds of breath in your own time. Deep inhale, full exhale. One more deep inhale. And then your fullest exhale. Nice. Bend deeper into the knees, hinge the hips, look between the hands, and then come to the top of the mat. However feels good for you. Maybe step forward or walk the feet forward. Take an inhale to lengthen the spine. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And then the final time, we're going to inhale, press into the feet, come all the way up. And exhale, come all the way down. Hands at heart center. Beautiful. 2 breaths here. Come back to the sensation of your feet just pressing down into the earth. See how you're supported here on your mat, maybe straight onto your carpet, maybe a wooden floor. Wherever you are today, just be mindful of how you feel standing. And then if your eyes are closed, just come with the eyes open, and then you can drop the hands down. Beautiful, everyone. Really nice work. So come to find a seated position. I'm going to probably come forward a little bit here. So get really comfortable. So I've got a nice bolster. You've got a bolster at home. You're lucky enough to have bought one of these beautiful things. Then feel free to sit on a bolster. You can sit in a chair. You can sit against the wall, or you can sit however feels good for you. I've got all my blankets, just so my feet are nice and relaxed. So I really encourage you to get comfortable. Look at me sat on my throne. But it feels good, you know, because I don't want to collapse. Remember, we did the spine care stuff last week. I don't want to collapse into my lower spine. So if I'm sat on the floor, it's a little bit like, but now I'm sat up high, it's so much easier. You know, my legs fall open, my hips feel relaxed, and my spine feels long. And I don't have to put a huge amount of effort in. So using props is certainly never a cheat. It's always an aid to your yoga practice. All right, okay. So I wanted just to read this. This is from a book called The Little Book of Yoga. It's a really cute little book. And it says about meditation. Meditation is an ancient practice that develops a sense of calm, peace, and serenity. It brings one back to the present moment, and it develops what is called the witness, the ability to observe oneself without getting caught up in emotions. You know, and I guess that's one of the main points of meditation and mindfulness, is that we can very quickly, you know, if we're not practicing, say, yoga, or we don't have a morning routine, we quickly get into our heads, and then we start spiraling out of control probably. And our days just, the energy's not great. So if we can commit to something in the mornings, get onto our yoga mat, say it's 5 minutes. You can do 5 minutes of mindfulness, 5 minutes of meditation. It can just be inhale 4, exhale 4. You just observe the breath. You know, it can be something a little bit more involved. You might go for a little bit longer, or you might work with a pranayama, which is breath work. So you might work with a breath rhythm. But find something that works for you. Find something that's sustainable. And there's something about going from summer into autumn. I'm always drawn towards more meditation at this time of the year, probably because of the dark mornings and kind of like about nurturing myself. So they say to do something for 40 days. You do something for 40 days, it becomes a habit, a good habit. You know, so you think, oh, I don't want to have a habit, Dave. Think about swapping out one of your bad habits for a good habit. So the final thing it says here is meditation and yoga poses are intrinsically tied together. Both are key steps on the yoga's path to enlightenment, or the 8-limbed path. Historically, yoga's physical poses were done to prepare the body for meditation, relaxing and opening the body to enable the yogi to sit comfortably for long periods of time without discomfort. Today, meditation is a wonderful way to deal with the stresses of modern life by taking the time to stop and become one with the present moment. So that's what we've just done. We've just moved, we've moved the body, we've probably got a little bit of energy out, and hopefully the body has opened up a little bit, which is allowing us to do this section of the class. So a little bit of meditation. We'll work with a little bit of breath rhythm, because it allows us just to focus a little bit more. But the simplest form of meditation is just to sit, you have the palms face up, close the eyes, and then just watch the breath. So maybe inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4. And it's really worth doing it. It's really worth doing it. You will see changes in your life, honestly, if you commit to it. All right, this one we're going to do, Nadi Shodan, energy channel cleansing. So we're going to breathe alternately through the right and the left nostril. So this is a beautiful one to do, fantastic in the morning, equally good before you go to bed, because we're balancing the right and the left side of the brain. So we're going to use the right hand, the left hand, it ain't doing nothing. It can just be here. So we're going to bring the thumb up against the right nostril. So block it off. And then it doesn't matter what you do with the other fingers, you can tuck them in. You're going to use the thumb and then the little finger or the ring finger for block off the left. So block off the right, you've probably done that already because I asked you to. Take a deep inhale through the left nostril. Eyes can be closed here or the gaze is soft. Then block off the left with the ring finger or the little finger and then exhale through the right. Beautiful deep inhale through the right. Close off the right and switch, exhale through the left. Inhale left. Close off the left with the ring or little finger, exhale right. Inhale right. Close off right, exhale left. Make sure you're still sitting nice and tall. Deep inhale through the left, relax the shoulders. Block off left, full exhale right, relax the face. Inhale through the right. Close off right, full exhale through the left. Beautiful, deep inhale through the left. Close off left, exhale right. Inhale right. Block off right, exhale left. Let's do one more round. Deep inhale through the left. Close it, exhale right. Deep inhale right. Close off right, full exhale left, final one. And then bring the right hand down just to meet the left. And then on both hands, bring the thumb and the forefinger together. This is called Gyan Mudra. This is the mudra of wisdom and knowledge. And maybe close the eyes and just check in with how you're feeling. So we think about the right side of the brain as energizing, masculine, it's the sun side. And then we think about the left side as calming, feminine, moon. And what we're doing there is we're balancing the energy within the body. So if you need more energy, breathe through the right nostril. If you need to calm down, which a lot of us need to, breathe through the left nostril. And then slowly come with the eyes open if they were closed. Beautiful, everyone. So you can see there, you can do the cleansing, which is either side, which is just done, and you can do that up to 10, 15 minutes. So that's a beautiful breath practice to do in the mornings or in the evenings. And really nice one to do in the evenings, just breathe through the left nostril. So you block off right and you just breathe in and out through the left nostril. And that's such a calming thing to do. And then if you just put a couple of yoga postures in as well, really nice one to do is called the Viparita Karani, which is where you bring the legs up against the wall. So the legs are just against the wall and your back is lying flat on the floor. The Viparita Karani, beautiful pose, very, very calming before you go to bed, especially if you struggle to sleep All right, okay. So we've moved. We've done a simple breath pranayama exercise, which is our meditation. And now we're going to do total relaxation. So come to lie down on your mat in Shavasana. Now, I would really recommend, even if you're quite warm, grab a blanket or put on some socks or something like that. So just get really, really comfortable here. Lie down on your mat. And then we're going to spend the next probably up to about 7 or 8 minutes just going through this beautiful body scan. So lie down. I'm going to sit off to the side, so you probably won't see me. But I'm just going to read this little script and we're going to get into it. In fact, I can read this script, can't I? Just sat on my mat. Make sure your feet are about hip width apart in Shavasana, lying down on your back, and have the palms face up if you can. That's a really beautiful thing to do. So the palms can be face up. Get yourself nice and warm. And get yourself nice and snuggly. Get really comfortable. Bring any kind of like final movements into the body. So maybe you wriggle out through the shoulders, might give the fingers and the toes a little bit of a wriggle. Nice. And then from here, relax completely. And begin to scan your body slowly. So you feel the full weight of the body just melting down into the floor. There's no kind of holding. Imagine the bones melting down. And then scan your toes and your feet. So back to that mindfulness. We thought about our feet at the start of the class, but now we're back there again. Allow your feet to relax. And then feel them becoming heavy on the floor. And then allow your awareness to rise up to your ankles, and then to your calves and your shins. Thinking about the lower legs in general here. Allow your awareness to just linger here. Feel your ankles, your calves, you feel your shins just melting into the earth. So there's no effort. No effort's needed. Feel the space in the knee joints and then move slowly higher. Relax the thighs. Feel them becoming heavy and warm and soft. And then notice your sit bones or your buttocks, your hips, and then your groin. So all around that kind of like hip area of the body. And 2, feel them becoming nice and warm and soft and relaxing. And then linger here just for a little bit longer. Feel the openness and probably the flow of energy through the hips. And then allow your awareness to come to the tailbone. So right at the base of the spine, your coccyx. Feel your sacrum and then your lower back release into the floor. So just release through the spine. As you do that, feel your lower back and your stomach muscles just relax. So there's no holding now. And then allow this sensation to rise up the spine. Feel each vertebra. Probably the space between them. Think about the alignment of the vertebra, or maybe you actually notice the alignment of the vertebra. Allow your upper back muscles and your shoulder blades to sink into the floor. Relax your chest and all the muscles between the ribs. Do that again. Relax your chest and all the muscles between the ribs. And then come to your shoulders. And this is an area where we carry so much tension. Let the shoulders release completely. Spend an extra moment here. Just really soften if you can. Feel the weight of the shoulders sink into the earth. And then allow this beautiful sensation, this softness to flow all the way down the arms. Relax the upper arms and your elbows and the forearms. And then come down to your wrists and see if you can feel the space in the wrist joints. Feel the space around each finger and maybe tap into the energy in the palm of each hand. If So you might feel something there. Bring your awareness to your neck and then your jaw and your throat and release all the tension here. Again, an area where we carry so much tension. Relax your jaw. Maybe open the mouth just a little bit. Relax your lips and your tongue. Maybe a little gap in between the teeth. Relax your cheeks and your eyes and all the muscles around the eyes and really deep in the eye sockets. And relax your forehead and your scalp. And then just allow the back of your head to rest heavily on the floor. Nice. Now relax your inner organs. Bring your awareness to the reproductive organs and either feel or imagine them relaxing. Relax the intestines and the kidneys. Imagine probably your liver and your stomach and your spleen. And imagine them being filled with healing energies. And then soften your diaphragm and your lungs. Back to the heart center, relax your heart. Let your heart become open. Let it become vast, undefended, and smiling. Remember when we came at the start about giving to others, a smiling heart. Release the breath totally. Let it be whatever it wants to be. And then notice the breath. Become aware of the short pauses between each breath. True mindfulness, being in the present moment, is the pause in between the breath. Relax your mind. Notice that the moment between each breath is the moment between the thoughts. And enjoy these moments of complete silence and peace. And then feel this sense of peace growing deeper. And let this feeling of peace fill you. Let the feeling of peace fill you. And then wherever you are, let it fill the room that you're in. Or if you're lucky enough to be outside, let it fill the outside where you are. Let peace fill the room and beyond. And that idea of that peace and that aliveness and that giving to others, let it touch everyone and everything. And then very, very gently, in your own time, just bring some physical movements back into the body. So maybe wriggle out through the fingers, wriggle out through the toes. You can roll out through the fingers. You can roll out through the ankles and the wrists. And then maybe stretch the arms above the head. Maybe bring the knees into the chest. You know, that can all feel good. And then eventually just roll to one side and then come back to a seated position. No rush here. Certainly no rush. There's never any rush. And then you find yourself back either sitting in a chair or sitting on a prop or on a bolster, or just come into a nice comfy position, a position that feels good for you today, meeting your body where it is. Beautiful, everyone. Bring the hands to heart center. Maybe close the eyes, press the thumbs into the sternum, feel that openness through the heart, and then come back to the physical body and the mind. Hopefully noticing the effects of your practice. Hopefully feeling a sense of peace. The yoga bringing us into that mindful space. And know that we can come back to this practice anytime. They're all recorded. Or you can make your own practice up. If you've got 5 minutes in a day, do 5 minutes. If you've got 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a full practice. And then with a wholehearted bow down to your prayer, just wish yourself well. That's the most important thing. And then if you wish yourself well, you can wish everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for joining today. If you were interested, I just read from this beautiful book called Insights by Bernie Clark. Very, very good book. I teach a yin yoga, is a much slower style of yoga where we hold postures for long periods of time, but there's some really beautiful things, a journey into the philosophy and practice of yin yoga. And there's some really nice pieces in there, which I like to delve into from time to time. So hopefully it relaxed you. And hopefully you had a nice relaxing session today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Debs. Thank you to Tracy, who just commented. Take that with you, and I will see you again next week. Yes, next week, 2:30. I'm not sure if there's a theme for next week, but if there is, we'll build it in and we'll practice it together. Thanks to Anita. Thanks to Sue. Thanks to Mandy. Everybody take care, and thank you for joining. See you again soon. Namaste, everyone. Bye now.